I wanted to talk to you today about a topic I haven't really discussed very much on this channel. I talk to a lot of developers, a lot of my coaching clients, and a lot of guys that want to make money. I help a lot of guys become financially free and to have passive income and stuff like that. As a developer, I think one of the biggest things that many developers want to do is they want to build a SaaS application. I've actually tried to do this several times myself. And I think the reason it makes sense because it's one of the best business models. If I had any kind of business that I could own, it would be a business to business SaaS. The reason why is because it has some of the highest multiples because it doesn't require a lot of maintenance. You can just hire some developers. Once you build the thing, you add some features. It really is not that much to maintain and it has less risk, especially a business to business SaaS application. The churn is low because people stick on that. I can think of, for example, I use ActiveCampaign for my email. I can't imagine I'm ever going to switch off of there because I'm running my whole email list. I'm running my business from there. So SaaS application definitely is appealing. Now, there's one thing though about SaaS applications. And again, this is why I'm making this video. I'll give you some hints on how to actually make things a little bit easier for you, but is that they're difficult. The reason why they have such high multiples, the reason why they are such the holy grail of building a business and passive income, really, because you can generate a lot of passive income from a SaaS if you run it correctly, is because they are difficult to create and difficult to market. Now, the difficult to create part, we'll talk about that a little bit in some of the places that I've gotten stuck before, but it's hard. I have a lot of developers that I have talked to that have spent years building a SaaS application. That's a lot of risk to put a lot of time into that. And then they go and try to market it, which is also hard. And then it's like they're burnt out by the time that they go to market it and the whole thing comes crashing down and it ends up being a waste of time, even though they've devoted so much time to it, because it does take time to build this stuff out. But let's break this out and let's talk about this. So if you're thinking about building a SaaS app, if you're building a SaaS app right now, I think you're going to find what I'm going to tell you here and some of the tips I'm going to give you very, very useful. So first of all, building. I've actually tried to build SaaS applications myself. And I say tried because it was a little different version of me. I don't do as much coding anymore, but this version of me, he gave up. And I'll tell you where I got to in every single SaaS application. In fact, I wonder if you could tell me, if you could guess where I got to, see if you can guess what I end up doing. So every time I tried to build a SaaS application, I've had a couple of these, I did the same exact thing every time. I basically spent the entire thing building out the very first thing you need. So what's the very first thing you need if you're going to create a SaaS application? Authentication, a login. So I wasted so much time doing this. And I'm actually going to give you a solution to this problem. And the reason why I made this video is because of the solution. It's because if you're trying to build a SaaS application, this is where you're most likely to get stuck. If you could have this done for you, imagine how awesome it would be. So I actually have a sponsor for this video. I know I don't do very many sponsorships on this channel, but this was so compelling. And I was like, this is an actual problem that I have faced. And so many of my coaching clients, if I would have had the solution for them, I could have saved them a bunch of heartaches. The solution is from a company called FrontEgg. And what FrontEgg does is they basically create the front end for you of the user authentication and management stuff like this. So basically, if you think about it, one of the hardest things, like I said, is that you have to build in a login. In fact, they can make it so that you can do a passwordless login, which is pretty cool. What about multi-tenants? What about authentication and user management and roles and all this stuff? So they've basically made it so you could do it with code or no code. So you can do a code integration or no code. You can basically very easily just hook this up to your application and integrate in here, which is pretty awesome. It's multi-tenant design, authorizations built in. This is pretty cool. Self-serve admin portal for end users. That stuff has taken me a long time to be able to build out here. So you can see all of the things that they offer here. And let me show you, I think this was pretty cool here. If we look at how it works, and you can go through some of this, but basically the way that this works is that you have this FrontEgg layer. It gives you the admin portal, the login box, UI, like all of this stuff. It's boilerplate. This is the thing when you think about this, is that every SaaS application is going to need all this stuff. And that's why every time I start a SaaS application, that's what I ended up building and wasting so much time on, because it could just be already done for you. There's no need to do this over and over again. If you built your own authentication, I guarantee you haven't done it as good as they have, because they just specialize in working on this. So you should rip it out of your app and just use this. I am serious about this. And then you've got your product layer. This doesn't interfere with anything. It just integrates. It's a seamless experience. So the the user doesn't even know that there's two things going on here. They have huge support on front end stuff. It's back end agnostic because it doesn't really matter what you're using on the back end. And then you've got deployment options, including Docker and Kubernetes and all of that good stuff. But here's the thing, right? So they have it so you can easily just remove the UI elements, like the different things right here, just a toggle, right? See the profile, you want to add users, user management, role management, all of this stuff. And look how nice it looks. So anyway, if I were building a SaaS app today, I would definitely be using something like this. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description below. That's the sponsor for this video, is FrontEgg. But let's move on and let's talk a little bit about the next thing. So building it, I think that will help you a lot using something like FrontEgg. I would also recommend, the other thing I'd say about building is that get an MVP first. Don't worry about pricing tiers and all of this stuff. Just get something out there that you can start to actually get users using. And that is going to help you, because so many developers I've talked to have built out for like 2-3 years, tried to build out this whole thing. And then when you get users, they're going to use it in different ways than you expected. That's what's going to happen. So just get people using it as quickly as possible. The next thing here about building a SaaS app, if you're going to do this, is to understand marketing. There are a lot of people that get stuck on the authentication, like me, so much wasted time. But some people end up building their whole application. And then what ends up happening is that now they come out of their cave and they have to try and market this thing. And marketing is a difficult problem. So I'm going to give you two options that you could do. The first one is the one that I recommend. And the reason why is because I feel like it takes the risk out of it, but it takes more time, which is to build an audience first. So for example, let's say that you're going to build a SaaS application around email marketing. If you built a YouTube channel about email marketing, for example, and you talked about email marketing and effective ways to do email marketing and all of those things, and you had a big audience, and then you build a SaaS application that was a competitor to ActiveCampaign, guess what? All these people that were loyal to you, that have been learning from you, and you introduce your version of an email marketing application, they're going to buy it. You're going to have immediate adoption. You're still going to have to grow it past that, but that is one option. In fact, one of my coaching clients, I was an advisor on his company, and he actually, what we did together is he built out this company from his YouTube channel, and it was a SaaS app. Basically, within 2 months, we had 60K MRR. I know that sounds a little crazy. There's some issues with it because of the space we were in. I won't get into details, but that's the power of having an audience. The second way you can do this is through paid advertisement marketing. Now you can do this and you can get this working, but just realize you're gonna have to spend a lot of money to get good at ads. And a lot of times when you're doing it this way, you're doing trials and you're working on trying to get people to trial to full price and whatnot. But it is definitely really expensive and competitive in the paid advertising space. So if you're going to go that route, again, I don't recommend that route quite as much. You're going to have a budget for that just to get the learning to be able to actually convert customers at a reasonable price. So anyway, guys, that's it about SaaS applications. I just wanted to hit on this topic because I know a lot of you guys are interested in doing it. And I think it's a great business model. If I were honest with you, I would say that for a lot of you guys, it would make sense to build some other business first and get some experience and then build a SaaS application rather than just going all into SaaS application. But if you are already, if that's what you're planning on doing, at least take this advice that I've given you in this video. Check out FrontEgg, check out the link down below so that you can get the best deal. In fact, they have a free option to start out. I would go check it out, but go check out the link below to FrontEgg. And don't waste your time doing the authentication stuff. Think about it. Where can you use boilerplate stuff so that you can, the most important thing with your SaaS application is getting in front of users, getting people to use that, and seeing if they will actually pay for it. Don't waste your time building out stuff that you don't have to build yourself.